and welcome. Today we are taking a full look at the Dart Zone Max Nitro Shot Volcanic Pro. Like the very recent Brute Pro, this is a Nightingale magazine compatible pistol with Slamfire. We're claiming 150 feet per second, and with that said, let's jump right in. Now included in the box, of course, we have the Volcanic Pro itself. We get the eye protection, which is always very important. We get 24 Dart Zone Max Nitro Shot 2X darts. We get 2 green 12-round Nightingale compatible magazines. These are the exact same ones that come with the Venom. These should work just fine in the Brute Pro and Nightingale. By the way, I did already load this one up with Ember darts. These are not included with this blaster, but we are going to put these over the Chronograph. And of course, we do get the instructions. Now let's go over the Volcanic Pro. Now first off, on the blaster, we do have one sling mount. It is in a pretty solid spot, and we do have one Picatinny style rail on the blaster right here. On the Picatinny style rail, I do have the included sight, and this works really well with the integrated corresponding piece back here. Towards the very front of the blaster, we do have the barrel. It clips on and off very easily. It continues that same Picatinny rail, and the really cool thing about this barrel is that you have an integrated B-car in there. A B-car or rolling scar is pretty much going to be the best for accuracy while keeping that performance high. Definitely one of the best things you can have on the front of your blaster. And if you don't like this barrel for whatever reason, the front of the blaster right here is fully compatible with all the other Dart Zone barrels. And a really cool thing about this barrel right here is that you can put it on the Deuce Pro. Now you cannot put the Deuce Pro barrel onto this blaster, but you can put this barrel on the Deuce Pro with no problem. Just a really cool feature. Towards the bottom of the blaster, if you think this looks a little too chunky, that is because this is a Picatinny style attachment. And I do have to correct myself because, of course, this is a Picatinny style rail under here. So the blaster actually has 2 Picatinny style rails. Now you might wonder what this piece is. This piece is kind of gimmicky if you ask me, but its only purpose is to hold this barrel just like that. I will say, even though I wouldn't use it like this in a game, it does hold it on there very well, and I'm sure this aspect of the blaster could be used in a storage context to keep all the pieces together. So not bad by any means. That's pretty cool. Towards the left side of the blaster only, we have our magazine release. It's pretty easy to hit, and the magazines will gravity drop. Also on the left side only, we have the safety. Pushing from the left side, the blaster is safe, and pushing from the right, you're ready to fire. Of course, right up top, we do have the priming handle, and I would say this one works pretty well. There is plenty of grippage on here, and the actual priming motion itself is one of the smoothest that I've felt. The blaster also has a reasonably good seal. As far as the plastic quality, pretty excellent stuff, and this grip right here is pretty fantastic. The blaster does have Slamfire, which we'll demonstrate a little bit further down the line, but for now, let's put this thing over the Chronograph. First, we're gonna fire a few of the included Bamboo 2X darts without the included B-car. So this is pretty bare bones. The blaster is claiming 150 feet per second. 177. 180. 182 and 178. Those are some pretty phenomenal numbers, far above the box claim of 150 feet per second. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with the included B-car on. 180, 178, 177, and duplicate 177. So while this barrel is definitely going to increase our accuracy, it's really not decreasing the actual performance very much at all. Now we're going to fire some Dart Zone Embers, which are Walmart exclusive and a pretty phenomenal and affordable dart. Starting off without the barrel. 164, 170, 168, and 162. Now the Ember darts are a heavier dart, so that is totally normal to see a decrease in the FPS, but still, even with the Ember darts, we are far exceeding the box claim of 150 feet per second. Very impressive. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with the included barrel. Duplicate 162, 158, 156, and 158. So with the included barrel, when using the Ember darts, we are seeing a bit of a decrease in FPS. But even so, we are still hitting harder than the box claim, and overall that performance is nothing but impressive. Now we're going to fire at the rival Jupiter target from about 25 to 30 feet away. We will be using the included B-car because we're going to try for the best accuracy possible, and we are going to be using the included NitroShot 2X bamboo darts. That one did hit the lower part of the target, but still technically a miss. 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 Near miss. Hit. 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 Miss. And we're up. Once I got this thing dialed in, it's pretty darn easy to hit a target of that size from 25 feet. The blaster with the included B-car is undoubtedly very, very accurate. Now let's fire some shots downrange. We are using the included bamboo 2X darts. Incredibly straight. Also incredibly straight. Again, a very accurate blaster, and those ranges are well over 130 feet. Now let's try some Slamfire. That worked absolutely perfect. That's really smooth. Definitely no complaints there. Now let's keep firing, but with some embers. Some of those embers actually traveled even further than the bamboo 2X darts. Just some absolutely top tier stellar performance. So what are my final thoughts on the Dart Zone Max Volcanic Pro? I think that the Volcanic Pro is an absolutely 10 out of 10 stellar blaster. It has the quality, it has the comfort, it has the features. As someone who just reviewed the Brute Pro and was just kind of disappointed and let down with that blaster for the most part, this blaster is absolutely the better Brute Pro in almost every conceivable way, except for the fact that the Brute Pro is smaller and half the price. In a lot of ways, this does feel like the Brute Pro done right, but if the Brute Pro worked better for me, I could see how the lower price and smaller form factor could be very attractive. This blaster is more powerful than the Brute Pro. Its operation is smoother, and we experienced no jams. The inclusion of the B-car is super cool, and it seems to do its job really well. Overall, the Volcanic just works, and it works really well. I mean, this is essentially the Dart Zone Pro Mark 2.1, but with more features, better compatibility, and Slamfire. Also, something that's pretty cool with this blaster is that the paint is actually like embossed. So each one of these purple spots here, they're indented. You can feel all the textures on these different components, and even this Dart Zone logo right here is raised. And on both sides. Definitely some of my favorite paint application that Dart Zone has done. Unlike the Brute Pro, the trigger on this thing is pretty sweet, not spongy at all. Also, on the Dart Zone website, you can buy extra springs for this thing. The spring pack comes with a spring that can take you below 130 and above 200, which is pretty impressive and significant. Now, this blaster does cost about $55 US, which is pretty significant sounding for a pistol, but I think a lot of why this blaster feels like it's so expensive is because we have so many absolutely phenomenal options these days. Like for $6 more, instead of this blaster, you could get the Boxer Pro, which is a full auto 50 round chain beast of a blaster. So it seems kind of hard in a way to justify paying $50 for a pistol like this, particularly when we have things like the Brute Pro, even if it doesn't work great in my experience, for half the price. But still, we have to keep in mind that if we look at Dart Zone pistols, in the grand scheme of things, this blaster is not all that expensive. The Mark II was $80 when it came out, and later versions of the blaster that did not include a holster were around $50. The Mark 2.1 was $100, the Deuce Pro was around $40, and the Venom Pro was around $60. So when I see this blaster that works really well and has more features than a lot of those blasters I just mentioned, I could definitely see it as worth it for the $55 price tag. You might find that spending your money on something like the Boxer Pro will be more rewarding, and I definitely do think that the Boxer Pro, in my personal opinion, is a much more fun blaster than the Volcanic Pro. But it really depends on what you want to do, because if you're looking for a powerful pistol and you need something to fill this kind of specific role, then compared to a lot of the other offerings, I just find this one a lot more compelling. I have zero complaints, so if you do need something to fill that specific role and you like the look of the Volcanic Pro, I can definitely recommend it. So I would say great job, Dart Zone. If you are interested in this blaster, I will have the link in my description. Thank you very much for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Volcanic Pro, whether you just watched this video or own one yourself. Have a good one, subscribe for more, and happy blasting.